Comparison kills confidence. It's the silent thief of joy, the invisible chain that holds millions back from reaching their potential. Every time you look at someone else and think they're ahead of you, you are silently telling yourself that you're behind. But behind what? Behind who? Life is not a race. It's a journey. And every single person is walking their own unique path. You can't compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. You can't measure your seed by another person's tree. The problem is people have forgotten how to see their own value without putting it next to someone else's. They've been trained by society to measure worth through comparison. Money, looks, followers, fame. And in that endless cycle of measuring, they lose themselves. They start chasing things that don't align with who they really are. They start doubting their abilities because someone else seems to be doing better. But what they don't realize is that comparison blinds you to your own gifts. It distracts you from the work that make you extraordinary. Confidence is built in silence, in discipline, in showing up when no one notices. But comparison interrupts that process. It whispers, "You're not good enough," every time you see someone else succeeding. And when you listen to that voice long enough, you start to believe it. You stop moving. You stop building. You stop believing. That's why comparison is poison. It doesn't just slow you down. It paralyzes you. You have to understand that no one's path looks the same. Someone might reach success faster than you, but that doesn't mean they're better. It means their journey demanded a different timeline. Some people bloom early, others bloom late. But bloom you will if you stay focused. The world doesn't reward those who rush. It rewards those who endure. When you compare, you lose your focus. You shift from purpose to performance. Instead of asking, "What can I create?" you start asking, "How can I compete?" And that's when you lose the essence of why you started. You weren't born to outshine others. You were born to express what's inside you. You were born to bring something unique into the world, something no one else can duplicate, but comparison blinds you to that uniqueness. You start copying instead of creating. You start following trends instead of setting them. You start doting your rhythm because someone else is dancing to a different beat. That's how dreams die. Not because people lack talent, but because they lose focus chasing shadows. Confidence is not built by watching others. It's built by working on yourself. The moment you redirect your energy inward, everything shifts. You start seeing progress where there was once doubt. You start realizing that your worth was never tied to anyone else's journey. The only thing that truly matters is the effort you put in every single day. When you focus on your path, comparison loses power. It fades into the background because you're too busy evolving. It takes strength to stay in your lane when the world is shouting at you to compete. But real confidence comes from knowing that no one can do what you do the way you do it. Even if someone tries to copy your style, your energy, your essence. They can't, because your journey is your fingerprint, and no two fingerprints are ever the same. So stop comparing your pace, your progress, your story. The person you think is ahead might be struggling in ways you can't see. The one you envy might envy you. Everyone is fighting battles you know nothing about. Focus on what's in your control, your habits, your effort, your mindset. That's where real growth happens. Comparison only distracts you from what truly matters. Becoming your best self. If you can master that, if you can stay grounded in your own lane, you'll find a sense of peace that no amount of external validation can give you. You'll start to love your process, your journey, your pace. Because you'll realize you were never behind. You were just becoming. And that process, that evolution, is what makes you unstoppable. Silence is strength. The world glorifies noise. Constant updates, endless opinions, people talking about their dreams more than they chase them. Everyone wants to be seen working, but very few actually work in silence. Real power comes when you stop announcing your moves and start making them. When you stop telling people what you're going to do and simply let your results make the announcement for you. Silence is not weakness, it's control. It's the decision to let your actions speak louder than your words. Because every time you talk about what you're going to do, you release some of the energy that should have gone into doing it. You feed your ego instead of your progress. And that's why so many people never finish what they start. They get addicted to the applause before they've earned it. There's a different kind of power that comes from moving in silence. When no one knows what you're building, there's no pressure, no distractions, no noise. You can fail quietly, adjust quietly, grow quietly. And when you finally succeed, it speaks volumes without a single word. People will wonder how you did it. They'll wonder where you came from. But you'll know. It came from discipline, from patience, from silent grind. The loudest person in the room isn't the strongest. The one who stays calm, focused, and quiet is. Because silence means control. It means you're too focused on becoming to care about attention. When you're silent, you can hear your own thoughts. You can listen to your intuition. You can make moves that others can't predict because you're not broadcasting your every step. The truth is, most people seek validation through visibility. They need others to notice their progress to feel worthy. But those who move in silence know something different. Validation fades, but transformation lasts. You don't need people to believe in you if you believe in yourself. You don't need applause when your results can speak for you. There's also protection in silence. The moment you share your vision too early, you expose it to opinions, to doubts, to negativity. Some people don't want you to win, and when you announce your goals, you invite their energy into your space. Silence protects your focus. It shields your dreams until they're strong enough to stand on their own. Working in silence doesn't mean isolation. It means discipline. It means you value progress over attention. You're not moved by likes, shares, or validation. You're moved by growth, mastery, and purpose. While everyone else is distracted by noise, you're sharpening your skills. You're staying consistent. You're building momentum that no one sees until it's too late to stop. The truth is, success loves silence. Because silence is where the real work happens. The sweat, the setbacks, the sleepless nights, the self-doubt, the grind. Those moments aren't glamorous, so most people avoid them. But that's where strength is forged. That's where champions are made. When you operate in silence, you develop a deeper connection with your craft. You're not performing for anyone. You're building for yourself. That's why your results hit harder, because they weren't fueled by ego. They were built through focus. And when you finally reveal what you've been working on, it's undeniable. No one can question it because it's backed by results, not talk. Silence is a strategy. It keeps you mysterious, unpredictable, powerful. It teaches you to value peace over praise. It helps you understand that not everyone deserves access to your process. Some people only show up for the success. They were never there for the struggle. But when you build in silence, you don't need them. You already built yourself strong enough to stand alone. So keep your head down. Keep your goals private. Let your work speak when it's ready, because the day will come when your silence turns into a roar, when everything you built quietly starts making noise so loud that the world has no choice but to notice. And when that day comes, you won't need to say a word. Your results will speak for you louder than any voice ever could. Energy is precious. Most people don't realize how powerful their energy truly is, how it shapes their reality, their emotions, and their results. Every thought, every emotion, every reaction is a form of energy, and where that energy flows, life grows. The problem is, most people waste it. They spend it worrying about things they can't control, chasing people who don't care, and investing in distractions that add nothing to their future. They leak energy through negativity, gossip, comparison, fear, and doubt, and then they wonder why they feel empty, unmotivated, and lost. Your energy is your currency. You trade it every day through your time, your attention, your focus. The more carelessly you spend it, the less power you have to build the life you want. You must protect your energy like it's gold, because it is. It's the fuel that powers your growth, your focus, and your purpose. Every time you give it away to something meaningless, you weaken your ability to create something meaningful. You have to understand that not everyone deserves access to your energy. Some people drain it, intentionally or not. They bring chaos, drama, and negativity into your space. And if you're not careful, you'll absorb their energy and carry it like it's your own. That's why you must become selective. Who you talk to, what you consume, what you give attention to. Because attention is energy. The more you feed distractions, the less you feed your dreams. Energy flows where focus goes. If your mind is full of other people's lives, opinions, and problems, your own progress will suffer. The world is full of noise, and if you don't control what you focus on, the noise will control you. It will steal your peace, scatter your attention, and blur your direction. You'll feel busy but go nowhere. You'll feel tired but achieve nothing. Because energy without direction is wasted motion. That's why discipline is more than routine. It's energy management. It's choosing where to place your power. It's saying no to things that don't serve your growth, even when they look tempting. Every time you say yes to a distraction, you say no to your purpose. And that's the silent reason many people never reach their potential. They spend their energy reacting instead of creating. You must become ruthless about protecting your energy. Guard your mind. Protect your peace. Learn to walk away from anything that drains you, confuses you, or takes you away from your goals. You don't owe everyone your attention. You don't need to explain why you're focused. You're allowed to distance yourself from anything that doesn't align with where you're going. That's not arrogance. That's self-respect. When your energy is focused and pure, you become magnetic. Opportunities flow to you. Ideas come easily. Clarity replaces confusion. You feel powerful, centered, and unstoppable. That's what happens when you stop scattering your energy and start channeling it. The truth is most people fail not because they lack talent, but because they waste energy on the wrong things. They burn out chasing approval, fighting battles that don't matter, and engaging in conversations that lead nowhere. You must learn to pull back, reconnect with yourself, understand what deserves your energy and what doesn't. Some things look urgent but aren't important. Some people seem supportive but drain you quietly. Be aware of how you feel after every interaction, every activity. If it leaves you feeling empty, anxious, or less focused, it's not worth it. Energy doesn't lie. It always tells you when something isn't right for your spirit. Redirect that energy into your goals, into building habits that strengthen your mind, body, and soul, into learning, growing, creating, and becoming better than you were yesterday. Every moment you reclaim from distraction is a deposit into your future. And over time, those deposits compound. That's how transformation happens. Not in one big step, but through daily energy investment in the right direction. The most powerful version of you emerges when your energy is disciplined. When you stop chasing everything and start mastering one thing at a time, focus is a superpower. The moment you master, you separate yourself from the masses. While others are scattered, you're aligned. While others are drained, you're recharged. That's the difference between those who dream and those who achieve. Energy is life. Don't waste it arguing, gossiping, or doubting. Don't pour it into people who never pour it back. Preserve it for the things that elevate you. The stronger your energy becomes, the more control you have over your life. Every great achievement begins with the right energy behind it. Steady, focused, and powerful. So protect like your future depends on it, because it does. Growth requires isolation. The path to transformation is not crowded. It's quiet, lonely, and misunderstood. Most people run from solitude because it forces them to face themselves. It exposes their fears, their weaknesses, their truth. But isolation isn't punishment. It's preparation. It's where you disconnect from noise to reconnect with purpose. There comes a point where you have to step back from the world and go inward. You have to cut off distractions, step away from certain people, and sit with yourself long enough to understand who you really are and what you truly want. Growth doesn't happen when you're surrounded by comfort. It happens when you're alone, working, reflecting, and rebuilding yourself piece by piece. Isolation teaches you to rely on your inner strength. It strips away the false sense of security that comes from validation and external support. It shows you what you're really made of when there's no one to clap for you, no one to motivate you, no one to rescue you. That's where your real power is born. When you learn to stand alone, you become unshakable. But most people fear isolation because it feels uncomfortable. They crave noise, conversation, attention. Anything to avoid being alone with their thoughts. They fill their silence with distractions, but that only delays their growth. Because silence is where clarity lives. When you finally sit still, you can hear your inner voice. You can see your patterns. You can identify what's been holding you back. Growth demands that you break away from the crowd. You can't elevate while staying in the same environment that keeps you small. You can't evolve if you're surrounded by people who don't believe in your vision. Isolation isn't about cutting people off. It's about creating space for your higher self to emerge. It's about stepping away long enough to upgrade your mindset, your discipline, and your direction. In isolation, you start to see things differently. You begin to realize how much time you've wasted seeking approval or trying to fit in. You see that the opinions you once feared don't matter. You start focusing on your goals with laser precision. That's the beauty of solitude. It sharpens you. It refines your vision. It teaches you to depend on your purpose instead of people. Every successful person has walked through isolation. The greatest transformations happen in the dark, before anyone sees the results, before anyone understands the struggle. It's in that darkness that you build resilience, discipline, and belief. You learn that growth isn't glamorous. It's filled with doubt, silence, and sacrifice. But that's what makes it powerful. When you embrace isolation, you stop needing external motivation. You start moving from within. You stop chasing approval because you've already validated yourself. You don't need constant reassurance because you've built your own confidence through consistency. You become your own source of strength. People won't always understand why you isolate. They'll think you've changed, that you're distant or arrogant. But what they don't see is that you're building something within that can't be explained. It has to be shown. Growth is personal. It's not meant to be broadcasted. It's meant to be lived. Isolation also teaches you patience. It shows you that progress takes time and that real transformation doesn't happen overnight. It's in those quiet seasons that you learn persistence, the ability to keep going without applause, without recognition, without validation. That's what separates those who wish from those who win. Eventually, when you step back into the world after isolation, you're different. Stronger, sharper, more focused. The noise that used to distract you no longer matters. The opinions that once hurt you can't touch you because you've built a foundation that no one can shake, one made of focus, peace, and purpose. Growth requires isolation because elevation demands separation. You can't go higher if you're still tied to what's below you. You have to let go of old habits, old environments, old versions of yourself. Isolation gives you the space to shed the past and prepare for the future. It's not the end of your journey. It's the beginning of your evolution. So when life pulls you into silence, don't resist it. Embrace it's not loneliness. It's alignment. It's life's way of saying it's time to grow. Stay in that space. Learn, reflect, build. Because when you come out of isolation, you won't just be different. You'll be unstoppable. Validation is a trap. It feels good, it feels rewarding, and it feeds the ego like nothing else. But the more you chase it, the more power you give away. Seeking validation means you're handing other people the remote control to your emotions. You're letting them then decide when you feel confident, when you feel proud, and when you feel worthy. The moment you depend on someone else's approval to feel good about yourself, you lose your freedom. From a young age, most people are conditioned to seek validation. They're praised for fitting in, not for standing out. They learn to measure success by other people's reactions instead of their own progress. So they grow up trying to please everyone. Parents, friends, teachers, bosses, society, constantly chasing that next nod of approval, that next compliment, that next bit of recognition. But what happens when it doesn't come? When no one notices your effort, your growth, your grind, that's when you realize validation is temporary. It disappears as quickly as it arrives. You can't build a strong foundation on external approval because people's opinions change with the wind. One day they'll cheer for you. The next day they'll criticize you. If your confidence is tied to their applause, you'll always be unstable. You'll rise and fall with their moods. You'll make decisions based on what looks right instead of what feels right. And that's how people lose themselves. They trade authenticity for acceptance. The truth is, validation feels like motivation, but it's manipulation. It manipulates your focus, your goals, and your self-worth. You start chasing what will make people clap instead of what will make you grow. You start editing your personality to fit into expectations. You start silencing your truth to avoid rejection. But the cost of that validation is your identity. You can't be free while you're performing for approval. The need for validation is rooted in fear. The fear of being misunderstood, the fear of being judged, the fear of not being enough. But the moment you stop chasing approval, something incredible happens. You start building confidence that no one can take away. You start trusting yourself. You start valuing your own opinion above everyone else's. And that's when you become powerful. Self-validation is the real game changer. It means knowing who you are, what you stand for, and what you're capable of without needing anyone to confirm it. It's standing firm in your decisions, even when others disagree. It's pursuing your dreams even when no one believes in them. It's saying, I'm proud of myself, and actually meaning it. Because real confidence comes from within. You'll never feel truly free until you stop needing permission to be yourself. You'll never reach your full potential until you stop waiting for others to approve your path. You can't please everyone, and the moment you try, you lose yourself trying. People will always have opinions. Some will support you, others won't. But their opinion doesn't change your reality unless you let it. Think about how many dreams have died because someone was afraid of judgment. How many people have stayed small because they wanted to be liked? How many ideas were never born because someone said, "What will people think?" The need for validation is one of the biggest killers of potential. Because it makes you play safe when you're meant to play bold. It makes you blend in when you were born to stand out. You have to understand that validation doesn't mean value. Just because no one claps for you doesn't mean you're not doing great things. Just because no one recognizes your effort doesn't mean it's not worth it. The world often overlooks silent progress, but that's fine. You're not building for applause, you're building for purpose. When you start validating yourself, you take your power back. You stop chasing recognition and start chasing results. You stop worrying about how things look and start focusing on how things feel. You become free to express yourself, to take risks, to fail, to rise again, because you no longer need approval to do it. You start living for yourself, not for an audience. Validation is an illusion. It tricks you into thinking that acceptance equals happiness. But real happiness comes from alignment, being at peace with who you are, even when no one understands you. So stop waiting for others to tell you you're enough. You already are. The moment you start believing that, your whole world shifts, because validation isn't given, it's created within. Master yourself. That's the key to everything. Every goal, every success, every dream begins and ends with mastery of self. The person who controls their thoughts, emotions, and actions holds the power to shape any reality. But most people spend their lives trying to control the world around them instead of controlling the world within. They try to manage circumstances, people, and outcomes, but they neglect the one thing they actually have power over, themselves. Mastering yourself means understanding your mind, your habits, your reactions. It means taking responsibility for everything you feel, everything you do, and everything you become. It's not about being perfect. It's about being aware. Because awareness is the foundation of control. When you understand why you think the way you do, why you react the way you do, you can start to change it. You stop being a slave to your emotions and start being the architect of your behavior. Most people don't fail because they lack opportunity. They fail because they lack control. They let emotions dictate decisions, impulses sabotage progress, and distractions pull them away from purpose. Mastery is learning how to rise above that. It's learning how to stay focused when everything around you is trying to pull your attention away. It's learning how to stay calm when life throws chaos your way. It's learning how to stay disciplined when comfort is calling your name. To master yourself, you must first confront yourself. You have to look in the mirror and be brutally honest about your weaknesses, your excuses, and your patterns. You can't change what you won't face. Most people avoid that confrontation because it's uncomfortable. It's easier to blame others, circumstances, or bad luck. But real growth begins the moment you stop running from yourself. When you own your flaws, you gain the power to fix them. Mastery is about consistency. It's not built in a day, it's built through discipline. Every time you choose to do what's right over what's easy, you're mastering yourself. Every time you say no to distraction, every time you control your temper, every time you push through fatigue, You're training your mind to serve you instead of sabotage you. The hardest battle you'll ever fight is the one against your own mind. It's the voice that says, quit, the doubt that whispers, you can't, the fear that says, what if you fail? Mastery means silencing that voice through action. It means showing your mind that you're in control, not it. You do that by keeping promises to yourself, by showing up no matter what, by proving through repetition that you can trust yourself. That's how confidence is built, from within, through proof, persistence. When you master yourself, you become unshakable. You stop reacting to everything that happens around you. You stop letting temporary emotions cause permanent decisions. You stop being a victim of circumstance and start becoming the creator of your destiny. Because no matter what happens outside of you, you can always control what happens inside. Mastery gives you freedom. The freedom to respond instead of react, to focus instead of panic, to persist instead of quit. It allows you to move through life with clarity and strength because you're no longer swayed by every emotion or distraction. You're anchored in discipline, in purpose, in control. Every great leader, every achiever, every visionary has one thing in common: self-mastery. They know how to manage their mind when things fall apart. They know how to stay calm under pressure. They know how to push through when motivation fades because they've trained themselves to act based on vision, not emotion. If you can master yourself, you can master anything. Success, relationships, peace, it all starts from within. The person who has control over their inner world can handle anything in the outer world. No challenge, no obstacle, no criticism can shake them. Because they've built strength from the inside out. Self-mastery is not about suppressing who you are. It's about understanding yourself so deeply that you move with intention. You know when to act, when to rest, when to speak, when to stay silent. You don't waste energy on meaningless battles. You don't lose yourself in chaos. You move with purpose, precision, and peace. The ultimate goal is not to control others. It's to control yourself so completely that nothing external can break your focus or peace. When you reach that level, you become unstoppable. Because while others are distracted by noise, emotions, and fear, you stay locked in on your purpose. You move forward no matter what. You create your own weather. You set your own pace. That's the power of self-mastery. It's not loud, it's not flashy, but it's unbreakable. It's the foundation of every lasting success story. When you learn to master yourself, you don't just change your life, you change your world. Because the greatest victory you'll ever achieve is not over others, but over the version of yourself that once doubted, hesitated, and feared.